This is MedExplained 101, Prevention First. Evidence-based public health, from confusion to clarity. Today, a ship called the MV Hondius is sailing the Arctic again. New passengers, polar waters, polar bears on the agenda. 34 days ago, that same ship was anchored off the Canary Islands, under international scrutiny, carrying passengers from 24 countries, in the middle of one of the rarest viral outbreaks in modern medicine. Andes Hantavirus, 11 confirmed cases, 3 deaths. The only hantavirus on Earth known to spread from person to person. The outbreak is over. The ship has sailed. But before the world moves on entirely, the story of what happened between April 1st and June 13th deserves to be told in full, because it contains lessons that matter far beyond one expedition vessel and one rare virus. Andes virus carries an estimated case fatality rate of 20 to 40%. Against that baseline, the outcome for the vast majority on board was a significant public health achievement. But how the world got there and what happened along the way is the real story. Let's start with the moment that changed everything. On May 2nd, 2026, a critically ill patient, evacuated first to Ascension Island, then transferred to Johannesburg for ventilator support, was deteriorating fast. Standard tests came back negative. Clinicians expanded the differential to include Hantavirus cardiopulmonary syndrome and sent samples to the National Institute for Communicable Diseases, the NICD, in Johannesburg. The NICD is part of South Africa's National Health Laboratory Service, and on May 2nd, their scientists confirmed Andes hantavirus by pan-hantavirus RT-PCR assay. That result triggered the WHO notification cascade. It set in motion a 13-country response. It was the diagnostic turning point for the entire outbreak. And it happened in Johannesburg, not Geneva, not Atlanta, not Amsterdam. African science was the turning point. South Africa then remained a full partner in the international response, contact tracing, clinical management, medical evacuation, throughout. A Dutch woman who had disembarked earlier died in Johannesburg. South African health authorities traced 82 former passengers and crew from a Cape Town to Amsterdam flight. This fact challenges a persistent assumption in global health, that diagnostic intelligence flows only from north to south. The Hondius outbreak is evidence that it does not. Now, the moment the outbreak became a political story, Cape Verde refused entry, the Canary Islands refused to allow the ship to dock, despite Spain's national government having approved it. Port workers in Tenerife held protests. Here is the thing. Those workers were not being irrational. They had found out about the ship's arrival through media reports. Nobody had briefed them. Nobody had explained the science, the risk level, or the precautions in place. Fear, in the absence of information, is rational. It took the WHO Director General flying to Tenerife personally to resolve the standoff. Spain's health minister confirmed docking within 3 days. The resolution required personal diplomacy, not just legal authority. Brief the workers, brief the community, then make the announcement. The Tenerife episode was not a failure of science. It was a failure to include local communities in the process before the public announcement was made, and it was entirely avoidable. The quarantine story has a troubling chapter that did not get the coverage it deserved. 18 American passengers were repatriated to Nebraska. Officials publicly stated their stay was voluntary. In fact, the administration at the time was so sensitive to post-pandemic backlash that officials took deliberate steps to avoid even using the word quarantine. Passengers made plans accordingly. One passenger had arranged to complete her monitoring at her family's guest house in Florida. She had worked out a legal arrangement with her local health department. She had been expecting to leave Nebraska. Then, on May 18th, after new cases emerged post-disembarkation in France, Spain, and Canada, CDC issued mandatory legal quarantine orders for 2 passengers, signed by the acting director. No warning, no transition. "I am angry. I feel betrayed," one passenger told NPR. "I'm being imprisoned. It's a nice prison. But this is a prison." The epidemiological decision to extend mandatory monitoring when new cases emerged was defensible. Andes virus has a 42-day incubation window. New post-disembarkation cases warranted a response. But the communication that preceded it was not honest. And in a post-COVID environment where institutional trust is already fragile, telling people their detention is voluntary, then making it compulsory without warning, is not a minor administrative error. It is a trust deficit that carries forward into the next outbreak. While the world tracked every update from one ship carrying 12 confirmed cases, something else was happening. On May 15, 2026, while Hondius passengers were still in quarantine, the DRC confirmed an Ebola outbreak caused by Bundibugyo virus in Ituri province. Uganda confirmed its first imported case the same day. WHO declared a public health emergency of international concern on May 17th. As of this recording, 695 confirmed cases, 138 confirmed deaths. Across DRC and Uganda, 676 in DRC alone, spanning 29 health zones in Ituri, North Kivu, and South Kivu. 19 confirmed cases and 2 deaths in Uganda. Bundibugyo virus has no licensed vaccine and no approved treatment. The response relies entirely on the foundational public health toolkit: isolation, contact tracing, safe burials, community engagement. And it is unfolding in active armed conflict, where health workers cannot safely reach all affected communities. The contrast with the Hondius is stark. The Hondius dominated global health headlines for weeks. The DRC and Uganda PHEIC received a fraction of sustained international media coverage. Both crises are real. Both deserve proportionate attention. One got it, one did not. The virus you hear the most about is not always the virus that poses the greatest risk. The skill of reading an outbreak is knowing the difference. So what does the 2026 Hantavirus outbreak actually tell us? It tells us that the global health architecture, when it is supported, works. 13 countries coordinated. Genomic sequences were shared across borders within days. Evacuation flights moved passengers across 5 nations, and the diagnosis that made all of it possible came from a laboratory in Johannesburg. It tells us that local communities must be partners in outbreak communication, not an audience for announcements that have already been made. And it tells us that institutional honesty is not optional, not in a world where one broken promise becomes a public story within hours. The MV Hondius is sailing the Arctic today. The passengers are home. The outbreak is over. And in eastern DRC, it is not. Both things are true. Both deserve your attention. This content is produced by MedExplained 101 Incorporated, a registered non-profit health education organization. Our mission: to translate complex medical and public health knowledge into clear, accurate, accessible information for everyone, from confusion to clarity. If this video informed you, share it with one person who deserves clearer health information. Find MedExplained 101 on YouTube, Substack, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Telegram. Search MedExplained 101 on any platform, or visit us at medexplained101.com. This content is for educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional regarding any medical condition or health concern. MedExplained 101 Incorporated. From confusion to clarity.